This is King Judah 23 of the Judah Life Podcast, and you watching the Empire Network.
Dizzle beats, that's a vibe.
COVID-19 doesn't exist. What does COVID-19 stand for?
A certificate of vaccination ID.
What does 19 stand for?
What, Dr. Day?
It stands for AI, artificial intelligence.
Wow, 1 in 9.
This has nothing to do with COVID-19 vaccines. Over 80% of the American population has now had a COVID vaccination, if not more than one. That would be like saying, you know, I need my tooth pulled out next week. That must be because I had COVID vaccination. These are unrelated events, but this is straight out of the anti-vax playbook to say, well, just asking questions, you know, maybe, how do you know? And I think what's the intent here is to sow confusion, to make people wonder, and it's having that impact.
Before the virus meets our cells is what triggers the most protective antibody response. So Keith must make the spike protein in the lab, locking it into exactly the same shape by adding another protein that acts a bit like a clamp. And that protein is a tiny fragment of HIV.
Dude, are you... These mother... have been infecting us with HIV, bro? HIV, bro? These rotten mother...
So this is what I found out. So I have a key and a bobby pin here. Explain to me why the key sticks to me. It sticks to my neck, too. I got this. Yeah, so if somebody can explain this, that would be great.
Oh my gosh, totally crazy. Look, it's sticking. See, did you just, I don't get why it sticks like that.
Go into humans in 16 weeks' time.
And in early clinical trials, it looked promising.
The vaccine was shown to be safe and extremely well tolerated in all of our vaccinees.
216 people in all. The problem was the use of an HIV protein used in the molecular clamp technology. It was a small fragment of HIV, and scientists were aware of the risks of false positive results.
There was a theoretical risk of this, we thought, albeit a very low risk.
In a shock result, everyone who had the vaccine came up with the false positive. The federal government was told on Monday, and jointly today with CSL, it was decided to halt the project.
I probably just made myself look so crazy because I'm talking to the doctor and I'm like, the one thing in my life that changed and made me like, and then all of a sudden I got all these health problems was the fact that I took the vaccine. And I'm sitting here telling her that, like, the food that America gives us is all poisoned, and all these vaccines that we're given are just disgusting. And, like, why does an infant need a hepatitis vaccine? Are they shooting up? Are they having sex? It just makes no sense. And she's just looking at me like...
Who's in control?
Who was in charge of the CDC that was controlling and telling our government to shut down small businesses and what they recommend for the mandates of the vaccines and Pfizer and all? At the time when COVID was being enacted, I'm going to read off the staff of who was in charge of this CDC. The director of the CDC was Rochelle Walensky. dual citizenship with Israel. She's a Jew. Deputy Director of the CDC, Ann Shawalchik, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. CDC Chief of Staff, Sherry Berger, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. CDC Chief Medical Officer, Mitchell Wolf, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. CDC Director of the Washington office. This is pertinent to the topic. We're talking about COVID, right? Yeah. This is pertinent to COVID. So I love you, Jennifer. Yeah, please. So Director of the CDC of the Washington office, Jeff Resnick, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. COVID SAR, Jeff Zaints, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. COVID Senior Advisor, Andy Slavitt, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. Assistant of Health Secretary for Human Services for our country, the Assistant of Health Secretary, Rachel Levine, transgender, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew.
Can I ask that you hold off, Christopher?
Ma'am, I'm almost done.
Mr. Wood, the chair has ruled that your comments are out of order. She's asked you to stop. The chair has...
You said Jew. There's nothing wrong with Jew. It's not derogatory.
Exactly. Okay, keep on going. Head of Pfizer Vaccines, Albert Bourla, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. Pfizer Chief Scientist, Michael Dost, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. Moderna Chief Scientist, Paul Zacks, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. BlackRock, everyone know BlackRock? BlackRock CEO, Larry Fink, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. I said we're willing to sacrifice our ego, our reputation, and our lives. Yes, ma'am, and I love you, and I appreciate your patience. BlackRock President Rob Capitale, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. The CDC Chief Medical Officer of Johnson & Johnson, Joanne Waldstreicher, dual citizenshiip with Israel, Jew. Chief Medical Officer of Merck, Michael Rosenthal, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. Head advisor of the World Economic Forum, Yuval Harari, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. And that's what we're talking about. That's not talking about who's in charge.
Christopher, you need to stop.
Who's in control of the media? Or the bank? Go on. God bless you. Thank you for your patience.
Doesn't stay in the shoulder where we all thought it should stay. It goes throughout your entire body. It goes to your brain, to your heart.
So that's two problems. One problem is it isn't where it's supposed to be ideally.
Where we thought it was, where we thought it was for all the
and the other
previous vaccines.
The other problem, and this is your area of expertise, is that what these vaccines do is they encode spike protein alone so that the immune system will learn to recognize spike protein and will catch it quickly when one is confronted with COVID. But the spike protein itself, we now know, is very dangerous. It's cytotoxic. Is that a fair description?
More than fair, and I alerted the FDA about this risk months and months and months ago.
And then concentrations are rising conspicuously in two places as we close in on 48 hours. One of them is in the ovaries, where it goes sky high. That's really frightening.
Anybody that's looked at this data says, what?
Yeah, that is a very frightening signal.
And it's the cognitive dissonance between what the CDC says is that this is safe for pregnant women.
Right.
This is perfectly safe, and it's on the CDC website. It's unbelievable.
At some level, it's not safe for women at all. I mean, this is
right.
So let's before we interpret the data, let's make sure your listeners understand it.
Okay, so the ovaries show a high concentration. For whatever reason, it's ending up in the ovaries
of the
preferentially.
lipid.
Yes, the lipid is ending up there. And then the other place that we have a signal, which I think suggests something we need to worry farther down the road. You tell me, Robert, if I'm on the right track here or not. But the fact that it shows up concentrating in bone marrow.
Bad news.
Actually, that suggests that you could end up with, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I'm saying we need to look for something like leukemias showing up here because of their creation in bone marrow. I know from other work that it also seems to show up preferentially in lymph nodes, which raises the question of whether or not lymphomas might be created. In any case, these are possible long-term effects that we have no way of knowing don't arise because these things have not been injected into people for more than years.
So we have two adverse event signals that are starting to become apparent, my friends at the FDA tell me.
Okay.
One of them is thrombocytopenia. That's not having the platelets.
Okay.
Which are manufactured in the bone marrow.
Which are right now we're focusing on bone marrow signals. Okay. Thrombocytopenia is one of them. Another one that is very hard to understand that's starting to come up in the database is reactivation of latent viruses.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this
Herpes
is
zoster.
shingles. Shingles is an example of that, but there are many others.
If there's any fucking body else that has had COVID, plus the COVID vaccine, and your body's starting to break down, please comment below. Because I swear to God, I don't know, because I ain't no scientist. I don't work for the CDC or no shit like that. But I swear to you, before COVID and vaccine, I was a healthy 39-year-old living my motherfucking life. Probably not my best life, but I was living my life, right? And then COVID and the vaccine came, and the bitch started having problems. First, my head was hurting, then my legs hurting, then my arms started hurting. And I'm like, what the fuck? Go to the doctor. You know what I'm saying? See the doctor, see what the doctor's saying. The doctor like, well, boo, you know what I'm saying? MRI is showing that nothing wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? We don't did well, all we can do. We won't see that nothing wrong with you, but I'm in pain constantly. Legs hurting, feeling like I'm 90 years old and I can barely walk. Right? Head hurting so bad that I feel like I'm getting dizzy. But you telling me ain't nothing wrong with me, right? So then I turn around and it started getting worse. And when I say worse, I mean worse. I'm not a diabetic. I've been to a neurologist. So I'm just a little perplexed and I'm trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. So if there's anybody else out there that has had the COVID vaccine or has had COVID, no, matter of fact, scratch that. If you have had COVID and plus the COVID vaccine, please comment and let me know if you've been having any type of health problems, because I swear something just don't sit well with me. Anyways, as always, be well and have a night.
And do you have any science to back up your opinion?
The best data are autopsies. So in the largest autopsy series published to date, I know because I'm the senior author, of all the deaths we examined, the answer is, of these cases that came in for autopsy after vaccination, 73.9% of individuals, it was determined that the vaccine was the cause of death. First author is Holscher and colleagues. He's sitting right behind me.
The largest post-vaccine autopsy ever conducted shows that 73% of people that was unalive because of the shots. It was over 300 bodies, but they continue to call this a conspiracy theory. Yeah, whatever. We ain't going for it no more. There's no way in the world that y'all should have been pushing this on the public, offering cheeseburgers and french fries, marijuana, all these other type of gifts in order for people to take this shot and try to pass it off as if you really care. Something is brewing when it comes to these shots. Let me know in the comments what y'all think it is. Do you still think it's just a conspiracy theory, or do you think it's more to it? I say it's more to it. Wheezy reactions. Period.